Hey guys, Levelcap here, and today in gaming we have new info about Battlefield 2042's Portal mode, Blizzard canceled BlizzCon, Call of Duty fans finally got some good news, and much more. Battlefield data miner Temporeal released some new info about Battlefield 2042's Portal mode. Now obviously this is data mined information, so it doesn't guarantee that it will be in the game, but the options do seem to be pretty much on par with what we're expecting. The options found also don't represent a complete feature list. That being said, let's talk about what those options are. You can set your server name, description, and welcome message. Crossplay can be toggled on or off. Ally identification lets you toggle friendly UI indicators. The ability to go prone can be toggled. Pinging has three options: 2042's general ping marker, 3D spotting, or entirely disabled. You can also toggle the entire heads-up display, though doing so doesn't disable the big map. Traversal sprint, aka super sprint, can be toggled on or off. The plus menu can be toggled. Friendly fire is also available. Spawning can be customized with a variety of options. You can allow for spawning on all squad mates, or you can toggle it so squad mates can only spawn on the leader, and the leader is forced to use the primary deploy points, or you can set it up so that the leader can spawn on his squad mates. You can also entirely disable squad spawning, forcing all players to spawn at deploy points. Soldier health regeneration can also be toggled. Squad revives can be toggled. What state players go down in can be changed between crawl, downed, or instant death. A classic weapon tuning option replicates the TTK and feel of the classic games available in Portal. However, this does not apply to 2042's weapons. Global weapon damage can be increased or decreased, but it's unclear if there's a finer level of control, like making only SMGs do more damage versus other weapons. You can also toggle infinite magazines, which gives players unlimited reserve ammo. Infinite ammo is also an option, so you never have to actually reload your weapon. Aiming down sights can also be toggled. You can toggle auto reloading. You can also disable early reloading, which forces players to empty the entire magazine before reloading. And finally, Temporeal found an option to toggle extreme weather events on supported maps. Behind closed doors back in June, we got an early preview of the Portal editor, and Temporeal's findings are just the tip of the iceberg relative to that preview. Temporeal's data has not even covered the Portal logic editor, which lets you set dynamic parameters for basically every aspect of the Battlefield experience. DICE might have expanded or reduced Portal's features since they previewed it for us, but it's safe to say you can expect a lot more control at launch. Blizzard officially canceled BlizzCon Online 2022. They recently postponed it from later this year to early next year. They say the reason was to focus on developing games and supporting their employees. The ongoing legal battle over the company's workplace harassment issues played a role in this decision. Hosting a massive public forum for feedback and conversation at a time when your company's public image is in the toilet is a recipe for disaster. And it's unclear what the future of BlizzCon will be. Blizzard says they're reimagining what BlizzCon is to be safer, more welcoming, and as inclusive as possible. In place of BlizzCon Online 2022, the studio will release announcements individually for their upcoming games. Far Cry 6's marketing is getting a little too in your face. Players that signed up to receive email updates have started getting emails encouraging them to play the game more. These emails include info like how many hours you've played, and it uses the game's villain to say stuff like, "Surely you can do better than this." Now, it is pretty easy to opt out of receiving these emails. Ubisoft have done the same thing for other titles, sending players reminders after not playing for a few weeks, but they're taking a more blanket approach with Far Cry 6. Players with anywhere between 3 and several dozens of hours in the game are still getting the same message. Call of Duty fans concerned about the storage capacity of their PCs and consoles got good news. Call of Duty Vanguard's file size could be half as big as Cold War's. The game will feature on-demand texture streaming that reduces local storage usage by up to 50%. That's great to hear, considering that Cold War is currently 220 gigabytes on the PlayStation 5 with Warzone installed. Nintendo just launched a premium tier of their Switch online service that includes N64 and Sega Genesis titles. Unfortunately, players aren't too happy with the experience. Severe input lag, visual downgrades, and other bizarre issues have popped up in Zelda Ocarina of Time. It has more input lag than the original N64 version running on native hardware. It also seems inferior in presentation to the otherwise terrible Wii Virtual Console version of the game. The good news is, these issues seem mostly isolated to Ocarina of Time. Other N64 titles and the Sega Genesis library all seem to run as well as you would expect. PlayStation 5 roguelike Returnal just got a major update that adds some highly requested features. It adds a suspended cycle option that gives you a single-use checkpoint. You can close the game without losing progress and resume from this checkpoint, but you only get to do this once per run. The update also adds a photo mode. Returnal is one of the better-looking titles on the PlayStation 5, and until now, players had to settle for just taking regular screenshots during gameplay. The photo mode lets you change all sorts of camera options, add custom light sources, filters, and more. Hack-and-slash shooter Shadow Warrior 3 is delayed to early next year. The game is highly anticipated thanks to the previous two games revitalizing the long-dormant franchise. Trailers for the game show a massive leap in graphics and promise more over-the-top action. The delay is being made so developers can polish the game more. They'll have more to announce soon, so it shouldn't be too long before we get the revised launch date. Doom Eternal's 6.66 update is here. It adds a new wave-based horde mode with unique weapon challenges and seasonal leaderboards. Battle Mode 2.0 is also launching with the update. It refines the game's 2v1 PvP mode with a streak-based ranking system, leaderboards, a new playable demon, and a new map called Stronghold. The final big addition is the two new master levels for Mars Core and the World Spear. Unfortunately though, this update might mark the end of the free content updates for Eternal. They haven't talked about future updates and they don't have any more expansions currently in development. Before we get to our final story today, take a second to leave your thoughts about Battlefield 2042's Portal mode in the comments. Did Temporyal's data mine make you excited to see what the full mode offers? We'd love to hear what you think, and as always, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on gaming news. Back 4 Blood has sold 6 million copies since launch on October 12th. Overall, the game seems to be doing much better than the studio's previous game, Evolve. That game had a ton of promise but crashed and burned under the weight of an aggressive microtransaction system and lack of content. The original Left 4 Dead games really did find a winning formula, one that studios have failed to replicate properly since their release, and it's been a long drought since we've had any sort of decent Left 4 Dead gameplay, and it's clear that the fan base is also very excited with the 6 million sales. And that wraps it up for today in gaming. As always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. This is Level Cap signing off.